One bullet cracked.
I stuck, I cracked. Bro, push.
1 second on bubble, 1 second on bubble. Nice to kill.
They're all dead, these guys are fucking dead, I promise you, they're
I'm
dead.
waiting, you two rush that, I'm waiting.
Come close enough.
Dead, all dead.
Nice. We don't get third anymore, that's good.
There's a lot of ammo in the box now, but...
I just want to get light ammo. Gibby's one shot.
Yo, what is cooking, my good looking people? It is Walty back with a brand new video. Now, in today's video, I am finally doing a settings video. Now, this has been my most requested video on my channel. So, I'm going to be breaking down my look and my ADS sense, my FOV, all that good stuff. But what I need you guys to do first is I need you to go like this video. I need you to make sure you subbed if you haven't already. And I need you to comment what you guys want to see next, because I really need to know. I need some ideas. Now, I'm going to be breaking down all the minor details very quickly, very briefly. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you do, please remember to leave a like. Please, I need it. I need the like. Alright guys, let's get into the video. And as always, peace guys. Recording. Alright guys, first thing I want to do is I want to start off by saying that just because you follow my settings or you put on my settings does not mean that you guys are gonna be as good as me. That's never what's gonna happen. You're not gonna replicate what I do or anything like that. And it's the same if you were to try and follow any other streamer, YouTuber, player. Like it's just not. It's just unfortunately it's just not how it works. Settings are so preferential and something that you guys really have to just go out of your way to experiment with and really try for yourself. For instance, I couldn't do what Pufferfish could do. I couldn't do what Jen Burton could do. I couldn't do what Designful. I couldn't do, like, you guys get the point. I can't do what other people can do just because I was to put on their settings. It's just, unfortunately, it's just not how settings work. What I would recommend is, if you are going to try and follow somebody's settings, is that you can use it as, I guess, a start point. You can use it as sort of like a reference and go off of that. For instance, Jen Burton or Pufferfish, those guys have like really unique settings. They use ALCs. I honestly wouldn't last a day trying to learn ALCs. It's just, unfortunately, it's just too difficult for me. I'm too straightforward. So there's just no real point in me learning that. So let's get straight into the settings, as you guys have been widely requesting. So my interact is on compact. That's just so that when I'm picking up loot and stuff, it's all very small, doesn't clutter up my screen. Not very important. We have crosshair damage feedback. This means when I'm shooting a dummy or a person, that that little crosshair that usually comes up, the hit marker symbol, which is in a lot of games. I've turned that off just because I find that it helps with not cluttering up my screen, I guess, so I can see more, and it helps with my tracking. I noticed this a lot. The second I turned it off, I found that my tracking just instantly improved, and I mean it. I mean instantly. It's one of the biggest things that I would recommend. If you guys have your crosshair damage feedback on, I would really recommend you just turn that shit off, just straight away. Turn that off. It is not worth it. I feel like there's no real benefit to you to keep it on whatsoever. To me, it was one of the biggest game changers that I ever did. Something very small for sure, but just because, like, you know where the bullets are going, and it's just much easier to track rather than seeing just that crosshair just taking up so much of your screen. I promise you guys, that's one thing I would highly recommend. What else? Damage numbers I have on both. It just helps me to really tell how much damage I'm doing to my opponents. Nothing really major there. Auto sprint I only have on because I like to flick my knife. That's really it. It did actually help, I guess, a little bit with my gameplay. It made it a little bit more fluent. But besides that, really just like to flick the knife. That's about it. Damage feedback I have 2D and 3D on, just helps me tell where I'm getting shot from. It is actually a pretty helpful setting to put on if you haven't done that already. Besides that, anonymous motion mode doesn't matter if you're not getting, if you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to worry about it. Colorblind settings. Now, I'm not colorblind whatsoever. I just really like this setting. I find it's just much, I guess, cleaner or calmer on the eyes. It just makes, I don't know, it's just not as harsh on my eyes, I guess. Alright, now we're gonna get into what you guys obviously came here for. It's my ADS and my look sense. It has to be. Everything else is pretty basic, and it's 6.4, guys. My my settings on the PS4 are a little bit different. It's 6.5. The ADS sense is actually a little bit higher, and that's because the aim assist on PS4 is much higher. So you can get away with having a high ADS sense because of how much aim assist there is. It kind of just picks up a lot of the slack for you. If you guys are switching from PS4 to PC or Xbox to PC, I would highly recommend you drop your ADS sense by at least 1, because you're gonna lose a lot of the aim assist when you switch over, and that means that you're gonna have to do a lot more of the tracking for yourself. So I'll just highly recommend that you just drop this sense by maybe 1. Maybe you're just cracked and you can keep it the way it is, but I for sure couldn't. I needed to drop it by 1 because I needed a little bit more aim assist, a little bit more stickiness, I guess, with my ADS sense when I switched over. And it honestly, when I first switched over, I had a big issue with my aiming. I struggled a lot for the longest time, just being able to just, you know, beam as hard as I could what I did on PS4. And so I dropped my sense by 1 and instantly just like felt like it would on PS4. I started hitting for 100 plus every single beam. It just started to go back to what it usually was, and honestly it was just a big thing for me. My response curve I have on classic. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail with response curve. I can at a later date if you guys want me to, but for now I'm going to keep it simple, and that is that classics and steady and fine aim are all sense for very, how do I say it, straight shooters. The type of guys that aren't really fancy, aren't really flashy with their playstyle, they just shoot straight. Your linear and high velocity players are the guys that look really fancy, look really clean. Players such as Pufferfish, which I'm sure anyone that watches my videos knows who that is. Gentrifying, if you guys are from NA. Jen Burton is another player who would play on, I think, linear Skirt, if you guys know who Skirt is from any of my videos, if you guys watch my streams. Also another linear player. I choose classic because my whole playstyle is just built around just me shooting straight, just beaming everybody. You know, one clipping is what I aim for, so why not play classic? I don't aim to be flashy. The flashiest I get is flicking my kunai, which is, you know, pretty basic, as we all know. My look dead zones are on small. Now, everybody has been doing this switch lately to have no dead zones. But as you can see, the second you turn your dead zones off, you will start and get stick drift. Now, is it worth switching to no dead zones? Yes. If you can handle the stick drift, for sure. 200% it is. Because you are making your aim snappier, and you're really like, it really helps for those like fine aim adjustments. Me, I'm weird, so I keep it on small, but I guess I would recommend putting your look dead zones on none. It's just that I'm just weird and I just prefer it on small. As I said from the start of the video, settings are so preferential, and it's something that you all need to go and test for yourselves. You can't like looking at my settings and copying my settings won't help you if you don't try and muck around with the settings yourself. I don't use ALCs, vibration off. That's just another thing with just helping me focus and recoil control, I guess. Movement dead zones on small. I think I missed trigger dead zones, but you want them on none because you want to be aiming and shooting as fast as you can, obviously. So, like, why would you put them on anything less than none? It just kind of doesn't make any sense to me. The other thing that is kind of major is I play Button Puncher. Button Puncher just allows me to crash spam with my R3. I guess it's probably the main thing I would recommend. Except the one thing I would recommend above having your crouch on R3 would be to get either a back button attachment of some sort, whether it be the Sony one or a Scuff or a Better Beaver controller. That honestly, those kind of controllers or attachments are so much better than having to put your crouch on R3. Just having the extra buttons, giving you the freedom, I guess, or to not have to crouch with the same button that you aim with is so huge. Just because, like, it probably will never happen, don't get me wrong. It rarely happens to me, but maybe, you know, for whatever reason, when I'm trying to crouch spam with my R3, my finger, for whatever reason, I slip, or I guess I pull too hard, I might pull down, like straight down or down to the left a little bit, down to the right, just because I'm trying to crouch spam, and it might, you know, affect my aim. It doesn't happen often, if at all. The worst that it really happens to me is I might shoot a little bit lower on the target than I would have preferred. However, for somebody that's just learning how to do crouching on R3, you might notice that for the first, you know, however long, first couple weeks, I guess, of you learning this button, that you might have this issue more than, you know, someone like me who's been playing on it since the COD days would have this issue. So just keep that in mind if you guys do plan on switching to button puncher. Just that, you know, there will be times where maybe it could affect your aim, but for the most part, I would highly recommend it. You shouldn't have a problem. But obviously, above all else, I would recommend just get some sort of back button attachment. My video, my brightness is 65%. My field of view is 110, and I have sprint view shake on minimal. I think that pretty much covers it for my settings. All of this is on low just so I can get max frames because I'm on PC, but if you're not on PC, obviously don't worry about that. And I guess I could show you guys some of the routines I do when I come into the range. I'll just show you very quickly what I do if I ever feel like I'm rusty or I need to warm up. And that's simply just coming into the range, picking up the guns that I regularly use, which would be a 301, a 99, a Volt, Wingman even. It's simply coming into the range and just practicing the recoil of the gun. That's all I do. I don't do anything flashy, I don't do anything... I just come in and I just practice the recoil of the gun. Get a little bit of a strafe going because obviously you're not going to stand still and shoot. That's just weird. Shout out my Gibby mains who do that. You guys are just weird. I almost swore. This is really all I do when I'm in the range. Look at me. I can barely one clip a dummy. But that's it. I just come into the range and I just practice the recoil of my guns. Yeah, like that's the only real thing that I think the range is good for. It's just practicing recoil of guns, you know, when you first get on, if you don't want to jump straight into ranked or pubs, whatever you guys play the game for, you know. Besides that, the only thing that I think the range is really good for is one, burning your friends. It's another good way to warm up. I think all these other practice dummies that you guys see, the ones that are moving, completely unrealistic, doesn't reflect a game situation at all, so I wouldn't really recommend, you know, coming into the range and sweating against, like, I know a lot of people for some reason think that hitting a certain number on
let's go this way,
this target at the back means something, like if you've got good recoil control, I guess. I don't know, but it's just completely unrealistic. Like no one in in the game is gonna move at this consistent speed and do this the whole time. I don't know. The only real thing I use the range for, guys, is, as I said, practicing my recoil control and I'll 1v my friends either for fun or to warm up. That's about it. And yeah, guys, besides that, I think I've pretty much covered everything to do with both the range and my settings. So if there was anything that I didn't cover in this video, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to maybe do a settings V2 if I ever change my settings at any point. Maybe I'll switch to MK. I probably won't because I suck on MK, but if I ever do, there'll be a video for it. But thank you guys for watching, and please leave a like, subscribe, comment what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.